What's up, everybody? My name is Mila. I'm a type 1 diabetic, and today I'm going to be talking about severe hypoglycemia. Last time we talked about normal hypoglycemia, which is when your blood sugar gets too low, and then severe hypoglycemia is when your blood sugar gets so low that you need help recovering from it. So this is probably going to be a bit of a little bit kind of a heavier video, and it's going to be more aimed at people living with people with type 1 or type 2. Anyone really can have severe hypoglycemia who's diabetic. So if you're in that wheelhouse, or if you're a diabetic who lives with someone, make them watch this. It could help you. But watch it with them so that if there's anything specific that you need done that I don't mention, tell them. Okay, so let's get started. As I was saying, I want this to be able to be used as a way to help educate people who live with those with diabetes. Watch this before an emergency happens, because if an emergency is happening, this video is going to be a bit long for you to help them. So watch this when the topic of your health and what they're willing to do to help you if the situation arises. Watch it then, watch it before something bad happens. So I am going to go over causes and risk factors for severe hypoglycemia, symptoms, and then treatment options. So keep it in mind though, that I'm not a doctor, and things might be different depending on who you are. There are different treatment options that people could have, just different things. I know what I'm going to talk about because it's the option that I have. So if you have, a different treatment option, tell your friend, tell the person that you live with about it. Get clarification from the person with diabetes what they need, because it's different. And then if you are the person with diabetes, talk to your endocrinologist about what options are available, especially for treatment, and see what they suggest that you do. We're going to start with some causes. In order to understand how to treat this properly, it's important to know how this condition or thing can happen. So some of the potential causes or risk factors are missing a meal or delaying a meal. So let's say, you've eaten a meal, your blood sugar goes up, your insulin brings it back down. You're expecting to eat here where it's not going to go too low because you're going to eat again and it'll go up again. But if you have to delay your meal, you could go too low, and that's not good. Depending on how long you have to delay your meal, you could drop into severe hypoglycemia. Or if you have to completely cancel a meal because, say, you're driving somewhere, you don't have time to eat, or something like an emergency situation pops up, I don't know, your friend is like, hey, I need your help with something real quick. And they underestimate how much time it'll take, you could drop too low if you have to completely miss a meal. So keep an eye on that. If you are with someone with diabetes and you notice that maybe they look a little bit hungry, or they're holding their stomach because it's growling, or you can hear their stomach growling, ask if they're okay. Or if you normally eat at noon for lunch, but it's 1, have you eaten yet? Just those kind of check-ins can be helpful. Just don't overwhelm them with them, I guess. And obviously be tactful. You know your friend best, or your person best. You don't want to overwhelm them with questions about their diet, especially if that's something that's potentially triggering for them. So just keep it in mind, but check in maybe if they need that sort of thing. Let's say you're in a situation like me and you eat at a dining hall, and that particular dining hall, for whatever reason, doesn't have nutritional information available. So you have to estimate the amount of carbs in the food that you're eating. It can be really easy to overestimate carbs in something, especially if you're not the one who cooked it. So if you overestimate how many carbs you have, you're going to take too much insulin, and too much insulin can cause your blood sugar to go down rapidly. It's happened to me several times. Thankfully, I've never gone into severe hypoglycemia because of my dining hall. Exercise is also a cause of going too low. You can't, so exercise, when you like exercise or move your muscles or like use energy, what you are in effect doing is taking sugar from your blood into your cells and using that sugar as energy so that you can exercise or work or move your muscles or whatever. That's how that process works. And if your blood sugar, so the amount of sugar in your blood, gets too low, your brain could be affected. So if you exercise and you don't reduce how much insulin you've had, so insulin is that molecule that allows sugar to pass from the bloodstream into the cells. So if you reduce the amount of insulin, you're in effect reducing the amount of sugar that can go into cells. Makes sense. So if you reduce the level of sugar, you'll still burn calories, obviously, but you're gonna keep your blood sugar level more stable. And that's a good thing. So another cause or risk factor is consuming alcohol. So if you are of age and you drink alcohol, depending on what kind of alcohol it is, I think, because a lot of mixers and things are sugary. Like wine is sugary. It's grape juice that's been fermented, and grapes have sugar in them, so it's a sugary alcohol, but it'll still affect your blood sugar. Whether it goes up or down kind of depends on the person. I know I try to drink, since I'm 22, I try to drink alcohols that are zero carb, just to try to avoid having to okay, this is alcohol, it's going to drop my sugar, but it also has carbs in it, so that'll raise my sugar. I don't want to deal with that while I'm also consuming alcohol, because that's no fun, and you want to, relax when you drink a lot of the time, so that's just, it's up to the person, but keep it in mind, if you consume alcohol, you will be lowering your sugar some way, somehow. The best way I found to do this is to Google how many carbs are in something, and talk to other people with diabetes who drink that type of alcohol. It's a process. I haven't found anything that makes me comfortable drinking a beer, because those are super carby. So regardless, just keep it in mind, alcohol drops your blood sugar. So if you know someone with diabetes, again, check in with them at these times. Say you have a workout buddy and that workout buddy is diabetic, ask them, hey, how's your sugar? Just because they might have forgotten to check. It's, if you have a pump like I do, it's really easy to forget that you need to check it, because it'll alert you if you are too low or too high. It'll tell you. But if you check with them before, they might be able to be oh yeah, I need to set this to give me less insulin while I'm exercising, because exercising inherently increases, it inherently brings sugar into my cells. So they'll be able to do oh yeah, thanks for the reminder, because I know I'm very forgetful about that kind of thing. So on to symptoms. So in my last video, there will be a couple of repeats from that really long list of symptoms, mostly from the end of the list, because this is severe hypoglycemia, and that list was organized so that you'll have less severe symptoms first and then more severe symptoms as the list continued. So the symptoms for a severe hypoglycemic episode are confusion and disorientation. So you could be, awake, not passed out, and still be in a severe hypo. I remember, I'm pretty sure I talked about this in my video where I talked about being in a severe hypo or having diabetic shock, that I was able to walk and my mom could talk to me and I would respond to her talking. I wouldn't speak back to her, but I would respond. So that's still a severe hypoglycemic episode, just because I couldn't do anything to get myself out of it, and I wasn't aware that I was going through it. So confusion or disorientation is a symptom. Convulsions, having a fit, having seizures, those sorts of things. I also talked about that in my diabetic shock video. If you have a severe hypo while you are asleep, you could have nightmares that are really intense. Thankfully, that has never happened to me because I am a little baby about getting scared. I don't like being scared. It's not fun for me. I just, no thank you. So thankfully, I've never had to experience that. Nightmares are just not something I like to deal with. You can pass out, so you can have a loss of consciousness. Again, I kind of talked about that in my diabetic shock video, and you can go into a coma if your blood sugar goes too low. Again, thankfully, I've never gone into a coma, but I have passed out. So you can kind of see here that if you are experiencing the symptoms, you will not be able to help yourself because you may not know what's going on. You may not realize, oh, my sugar's low, I need to eat. Or I need to drink some juice. You might not realize because, if you're confused, she'll be like, what? Huh? That kind of thing. So how are you going to get out of this if you're the diabetic? I suggest having someone checking in with you. If you live by yourself, like a neighbor who can check in with you and be like, I haven't heard from so-and-so in a couple hours, or like a friend or a parent, or live with someone, or have like a diabetic service dog. Those sorts of things can help you in really bad situations if you want to live by in some of those situations you can't live by yourself if you have like a roommate or you live with your parents or something like that. But what you should do is teach them how to use like a glucagon emergency kit. That's one option. Teach them your option basically for recovery. Glucagon is a hormone that tells your liver to secrete stored glucose into your blood. I have only really ever heard about injectable glucagon because that's what I have. That's what this is. But a couple of the sources that I used for this video, which are linked down below, and I suggest you check them out, also mentioned that glucagon can be inhaled, which is interesting to me. It makes sense because you inhale it, it'll go into your lungs, and then from your lungs it'll go straight into the blood supply, straight to the liver, whereas this, you just inject it. So people with diabetes, you should teach those who you live with or are in close contact with all the time how to use it, depending on which kind you have. Injectable glucagon can be injected into thighs, arms, or buttocks. And if a person who is if someone is completely unconscious when you give this to them, they should regain consciousness in 5 to 15 minutes, although I'm sure it depends on the kit. This is mine. I'm trying to be very gentle because there are like some loose pieces. Yes, that is a syringe, and there are directions. Oh, I can't pick it out. Okay. There are directions up here, and they basically say, take this thingy, this little vial, and there's there's a little powder in there. And what you're supposed to do is inject the liquid that is in the syringe in here, shake it up, and then pull everything back into the syringe and then inject it into the thighs, arms, or buttocks. That's what mine looks like. So teaching someone how to use that could, save my life someday, quite literally. So I always, whenever I go anywhere that I know, so if I'm going somewhere for like a long period of time, really, the only place I never carry this around with me is while I am on campus, mostly because I do have my pump on me. I can get anywhere on this campus in 10 minutes. And if I can see, I'm starting to go low, 9 times out of 10, I'll be able to leave wherever I'm at and come back to my dorm to get a snack if I don't have one on me already. So that's the only reason I don't carry this with me 24/7, but if I leave campus, this is in my purse. Make sure you tell people where you keep this. I used to keep this in my backpack too, but I have only one in-person class this term, so I don't really carry it anymore. And that class is really close to my apartment, so it's not a huge deal that I don't have it with me 100% of the time, because I know I'll be able to get back up here if I start going low. It just, you know yourself and your routines, but it's in my room at all times. My roommates all know that it's there, or it's in my purse. They know what it looks like. I've explained to them how to use it. If I'm not responding, they know that it's time to give it to me. That sort of thing. So glucagon can induce vomiting, if you give it to someone who is unconscious, make sure you get them on their side or something, so that if they throw up, they don't then choke on their vomit and die. If they're laying down because they've passed out, roll them on their side. If they're still conscious, maybe have them prop their head up, or have them sit, elbows on arms, head, holding their head so they don't hurt their neck. But give them a trash can, or a bucket, or a bowl or something, so that they don't just start spewing vomit, because that's very gross and not fun to clean up. I've been a CNA. I know vomit's not fun to clean up. So if there's no glucagon available, what you are going to need to do is call an ambulance. Get the person who has the severe hypoglycemic episode or diabetic shock to the hospital. Make sure that you tell the EMS people, the ambulance people who are working with the ambulance, who are taking them to the hospital, that they're diabetic, that you know that they are in a shock. Tell them everything that you can so that they can get treated properly. So those are the things that you can do to help someone who is going through severe hypoglycemia or diabetic shock. Here are some things that you should not do. You should not feed the person. Don't give them food or drink. If they are passed out, they could choke. If they are so confused that they are just not with it up here, if you can talk to them and they can't even tell that you are talking to them, don't give them food. Just give them the glucagon and make sure that they're okay. Or call an ambulance if you don't know where glucagon is. Another thing you shouldn't do is inject insulin. Insulin lowers blood sugar, so if you give them insulin, you are going to make the situation worse. Insulin is often seen as the end-all be-all cure for all things diabetes related, and by people who aren't diabetic. That's not the case. Do not give someone who has a diabetic shock going on or severe hypoglycemia, don't give them insulin. You'll make the situation worse. So do not do that, seriously. That is everything that I wanted to cover today about severe hypoglycemia. I'm going to be ending the video here. But first, a quick little announcement. I'm graduating in May, which is super exciting. But because of that and finals and wanting to relax after being in college for being in school for 16 years straight without more than a summer off, I want to break. So I'm gonna chill after I graduate. So I will not be making videos in May. So my next video, the last one before break, is going to be on the 18th of April, and then I'll be coming back on June 13th. Okay. Cool. I will see you guys then, I guess. I don't know. All right. Thank you so much for watching. If you would like to learn more about diabetes from a patient perspective, please subscribe down below. As always, I will see you all in a couple of weeks. Stay healthy. Bye.